Hello, hello. Hope you guys are all having a good one. Today's video, we're going to be talking about the recent update to GeoGen. So, update 4.0, as I have here. We must have been today. There was a new update for GeoGen. Heaps of new features. So, in this video, I'm just going to be covering briefly what is really been added, just talking about what's been added here, and I will list out a couple things that a couple key things that I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. There's nothing with this update, we're not expecting complete a bunch new filters or stuff like that. There's a couple new nodes added. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. I'm still trying to get my head around some of them. There's a couple things that I do know about, and I can go through a couple of things that I would love to see a use case from some of the devs and how they've used it to sort of see how it's meant to be used, because I'm still trying to figure it. Some of them are out myself. But yeah, let's get into it. Starting off, change the default camera orbit dash rotation control to Alt left mouse button. So for those of you who, I think in my GeoGen, if you watch my GeoGen tutorial, my big one covering, I guess, the launch of it all, I believe I mentioned that I changed my camera shortcut to industry compatible. That allows the Alt left mouse button like orbit, sorry. That is now the default, at least in GeoGen. So for those of you who want to get used to the controls, it is now Alt, clicking or middle mouse and stuff like that. That's not how you would go. Middle mouse, panning. I don't know the original controls. I haven't used those controls in ages, really. The only thing I did notice, now I was recording, I was doing a stream or something, or I was testing earlier, and I was running into this issue where sometimes with the default, sometimes I had it like locking onto that corner there. I think for now we can sort of see it's like not orbiting completely in the middle. I don't know if that's a bug. I don't know if that's purposeful. I don't know exactly what that is. That's an observation. So anybody that's working at Django Fix, watching this, that's something that I've noticed in quick testing. I'm not sure if that's purpose. I don't know if that if that's like meant to be the case. I think generally industry compatible, sorry, hasn't had that issue for me. I could be completely, I don't know. I could be completely wrong there. I don't know if that's something that I've just noticed and maybe an issue or purposeful all throughout, but that's something that I might bring up. So for those of you who are used to like stuff like Maya and whatnot, this is going to be great. They have since added the warp flow node that revolves pressure for computing obstacle avoidance. This is one of the, I guess, two things that they've added really node-wise that I'm a little bit lost on. So effectively you can just search it up. It's called warp flow here, and this is something that I'm going to cover in a bit. But they've added a bunch of also new visualizers for warp. This is great. I haven't seen this in regards to visualizing. I haven't seen this in any other program, so this is actually pretty cool. A pretty cool visualizer, really. You get to see kind of the flow of everything, which is nice. Which is also great because it's during warp flow. So let's go add a. I mean, the only thing that we can really get off of this here is the warp flow, and so I'm guessing that this warp heavily intertwines with the current I guess height map that already exists and works off there. So you got a couple things that you can play around with. So some of these I haven't been able to like figure out exactly how to get utilization out of, for example, vorticity. I can change that. Doesn't really change too much. But stuff like wind makes quite a big difference, I think. When you turn up the wind, you can sort of see We're getting some major changes here, so you can add some like wind warpage and stuff like that, the amount that it's being used. But some of these, like, I'm not really seeing too much vorticity. Oh, there we go, now we're getting a bit of vorticity, so that's adding like a bit of a breakup. So I think everything works around the wind, I'm guessing. So, yeah, I see. Awesome. Slope injection and stuff. So I think, I don't know, it's for object, like collisions and stuff like that. So you'd probably run this into, like, for example, we got default fluvial erosion. I mean, there's probably better examples, but I'm still trying to work all this stuff out. Plugin, of course, doesn't work because you need to play with the warp intensity. And here you can see the warp taking into effect. It's giving us some pretty cool results. So, I mean, it's pretty cool. But I would need quite a bit of time to completely get my head around that one. The one that I don't actually understand, it's the next thing that we're going to go over, is the height map store. So that's store and recall. So it is stated that this is for feedback loops, but I'm not entirely sure when I would utilize that myself. But that's just simply because I'm not too sure. I think I saw somewhere mentioning, now this could be completely wrong, something to do with animation, and when you're having keyframes, maybe it stores this particular keyframe. But that could be complete. I could have just misread or read that off something else. Sorry. So completely off. So we'll continue along, but here, I mean, you got the height map, store and recall. There's no difference, and that's store has no control. This is active. You can turn it on and off. This is why I'm not too sure, like, entirely. I don't know. I could be missing something completely, but I'll bring that up. But I don't know. If there's somebody from Django watching, I'd love in the comments if when it would be used and if it's something that you generally used, that it would generally be used, or if it's something that's kind of niche. Added preference option for inverting camera panning. That's great. I guess some people that use like Unreal Engine might like that, to be honest. Added tooltips to toolbar options. That's going to be helpful. Status bar messages for spline tools and camera. Pretty cool. Same with flip import mesh along z-axis. It's pretty good. This is actually something funny. So I didn't even know that there was. I don't know if I just completely missed it, but there is import model, because I was doing a bit of research for some other stuff here, and I noticed that there's you can import models. I'm like, wait, since when could you do that? So I don't know if I completely missed it. I don't know if it was always there, but here's like a model that I've been working on for something completely else. If you watch my streams, you would have seen it, but here's like a brooch that I'm working on, for example, for not working on for a game, but it's a bit of like fan art sort of thing. It's pretty cool. Like, you can import, and I just drag it into there, and you can sort of see, existing. So I don't know, dude. I don't know how I missed that, but that's apparently been a thing that I've completely missed has been added. Pretty damn awesome though. Both for importing, like there could be stuff like if you're doing roads and stuff, or maybe you want like cars added, or you can add like you got like specific tree placements where you want trees and you don't want to sort that out here, and you got predetermined stuff. I guess you can import like that sort of stuff. I mean, I don't gotta spell it out for you guys. I'm sure most of you guys have great ideas there, but repeat option for import height map node. I mean, that's great. So that's just, I'm guessing, the case of, you've got your height map, and you've imported it from somewhere, and you've made some changes to the file. This way, I'm guessing repeat option would just be the height import. That would just but is that not re-importing? Repeat. Oh, maybe I'm crazy. I'm guessing that would probably be tiling or something. Not too sure, actually. What else do we have? Sorry. Mesh exporter writing vertex normals to vertex color, which is going to be great. Mesh importer not reading vertex colors from FBX files. I can't. I mean, I completely missed it. There was mesh imports. Oh, there was definitely something else that was. I don't know if I'd done that before, and because I remember having imported something into GeoGen for testing, not for video purposes. And I'm not too sure. It could have been something related to that, but that's going to be helpful. Vertex colors, so you could do use that for probably like masking and stuff. So maybe let's say you use a different program and you're importing a terrain to do further processes in here. You could add like masks via vertex colors and have that, or if you have specific things, you can do that, which I think would be awesome. Mesh input output color values can now be read from a texture input, which is going to be pretty great. That allows you to do a bit more with the imports, stuff like that. What else? Uniform fill shape to mask height map shape nodes. That'll be good. Mesh exporter no longer silently fails when only the color input pin is connected. That's going to be pretty helpful. I mean, there's a lot of things like that where you just get the silent fails and you're just like, did something happen? Wait, why? Where's my export gone? You know what I mean? Not in GeoGen. I don't run into that luckily too often in GeoGen, but definitely some other programs that I use. I'm just like, where's it going? But yeah, you know, mesh importer reload button not functioning. That's going to be great then. Fixed mesh import node. Maybe a mistake. No, never mind. Yeah, some of these should be in bug fixes, I would have thought. I don't know if that was a mistake or not. Mesh import node not loading OBJ files. I mean, that's obviously a big one then. A great fix. Fixed blank images being exported when using Unity mapping once again. Pretty great, especially considering, you know, you got the Unity mapping, I guess, option, you know, having that not work could be a bit of a pain. So that's going to be great. If you use Unity, I usually use Unreal myself because a lot of my teams end up using that. Mesh reduction is now also applied to water layers exported by the model writer. That's going to be great. I feel like I've had issues with trying to export water in the past though. I'm not too sure. I could be crazy. Maybe they fixed it in one of the updates though. Added PNG 16 read support. This is going to be pretty damn big, at least I would assume for importing, because when you're doing stuff, if you're importing height maps and whatnot, a lot of the time, I mean, height maps, I think you almost always are going to almost need PNG 16. I would assume that's just referring to 16-bit over 8-bit, because 8-bit just doesn't hold the information. So a lot of the time you get banding issues. So therefore having PNG 16 read support, assuming that I'm not completely overcomplicating and misunderstanding it, that's going to be big because that would fix any banding issues that you may be getting when importing height maps. Could be completely wrong there. Added a bounding box to imported meshes. That's going to be great. That allows you to have a bit more sort of like know where everything is and the limits of them, I should say. Added a shortcut to toggle water rendering in the renderer node. Where would that be then? Oops. Uh-oh. Oh, there we go. Oh, yeah, there we go. So it's nice. Awesome. What else do we have? Where are we? Export the warp node. Okay, so something that I was doing a little bit of testing before I started this recording. This one is both pretty cool, but I maybe have a recommendation for something that we can add. Well, we being, I guess, Django. I don't know. I'm not part of Django though. Let's say I export this warp noise, for example, and you can go now export warp. Really cool. I'm not going to do it for this, but I did do it earlier before stream, and you get you get a result similar to this. Obviously, it changes each time because of warps and stuff being random, but this is the result you get. Pretty cool. And you could use this for like masking and stuff like that in other programs and whatnot. The only thing that I feel like is missing is, I was doing a bit of looking into, there's no import warp. So I was kind of like looking how you'd actually, this is great if you need it for other cases, and maybe other programs can import this in their sense, but it'd be pretty cool if you could once again also import this. So maybe I'm wrong and I don't know how you'd go about importing it, because there's the obvious two things. If I drag and drop it, I get myself a height map, which is all cool beans, but it's kind of like crazy. And we do get some banding. Maybe, yeah, you get banding issues. I don't know why that is the case. Maybe it's because not 16. It's 8, but that'll be why. But obviously, like, I don't think you would import it like that, relative vertical scale. I mean, it's pretty cool. It's like obviously there's band issues because I did 8-bit, but I mean, you could utilize it as a height map, which is kind of cool. I don't know if you'd do it like that though. Maybe that's just an example that's kind of nobody would ever do. But otherwise, you can import it as a color texture, but you can't use a color that I understand as a warp. So if you wanted to, you could save a bunch of these warps, and then you can import them whenever you need to. That'd be pretty cool. So having maybe something as like an import warp, or import, having turn 2 warp, could be pretty cool. That's just something that, if anybody once again from Django watching, that could be something. Because otherwise, I don't know enough about other programs utilizing warps and the use case of that. But I think you'd be able to. I'm not too sure. I once again, I haven't had, like, that would require, I don't know, quite a bit of research there. Export variations option. If you've done if you've been using the other programs from, I don't know if LiquidGen has variations yet. I'm not too sure, but InGeoGen has variations. This is great. So what this allows you to do is you can you can set specific parameters to be randomized on export, and then you can export obviously these variations, and then you could effectively have like a if you are trying to make a bunch of mountains for like the background of your game, or like your CG, I don't know, you're making a terrain, right, for a film or something like that, and you have a specific setup of mountains, and you want a bit of variation between them, and so you could just set up like an export of like, I don't know, like a batch of 8 things you're exporting, with slight changes, and they'll still be same colors potentially. Maybe you could even customize the colors. I don't know if you can do actually colors per se, but you could have like slight different warp. You could change some of the warps and stuff like that. That'd be that's really, really good if you have like a full setup for that, and that's kind of what you're trying to achieve. So that could save a heap of time if you're trying to make a lot of mountains and not just a hero asset. Added node processing progress bar to the viewport. I don't know if, let's see. I'm guessing it's this over here. I mean, we're at 2K now. If I had something, I don't know, filter snow, for example. I mean, I don't care about it. Is it this that was it? I don't know. I could be crazy, but that's helpful to see. If it's not that, then I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. That's awesome to see. So you're not having to look here. You can keep your eyes on what you want to see. Added copy paste support for color gradient handles. That's super, super, super helpful. I can't remember if I've definitely run into that issue, but I know that that's definitely going to make life super easy for. I'd assume that you can copy paste over multiple things. So if you have a specific color set, instead of having to copy and paste the whole colorize node, you can just copy paste specific handles there. Copy button next to color picker's hex value. Oh, that's really cool. Hold on. Oops. Copy button. Oh, here we go. Let me. Here we go. So you can copy. Oh, that's really, really good. Okay, awesome. That's going to be. I mean, you know how that's going to be helpful. If you're trying to use that for other things, or even outside of the program, you know, you got, I don't know, a set of 5 colors that you're working with. You can save those down. Makes life super easy for feature stuff that you're doing. Numbering offset parameter for export nodes. That may be of correlation to the variation export though. Added copy button next to, we've gone over that. Let's keep going. I need to go quick, dude. This was meant to be a 5-minute video and there's just so much that they've added. I won't cover the bug fixes. You guys can go over that. This will be too long. Added support for using Control-C for copy dialog, messages. Okay. For copy dialog box message. Okay, that could be helpful. That could be pretty helpful. I was trying to think. Exactly. So is that like these? No? Okay. Oh, that's pretty helpful. I mean, I don't know how often I'd be copying that, but once again, it's not something that, like, you know, only add it because it's going to be helpful, like, all the time, you know? That's something that, you know, maybe you need to translate, for example, because you don't speak English, or you're trying to do research and there's some specific parameter that you're not entirely sure what it might be, and so, you know what I mean? That could make your life so much easier. Let's see. Fixed shadow mask not updating when linked to sun enabled for the first time. Is it shadow mask? Dude, I'm finding out new things. Improved speed of 16-bit PNG writer and set it as default formatting for high map exports. Once again, this I guess goes into the whole why I just mentioned before of 16-bit being quite important. That's actually really helpful that that's the default, because generally you only really want to be working with, there's occasions when you might like 8-bit, but for the most part 16-bit is like, you would pretty much only want to be using that. So yeah, having the default makes so much sense, and with it working, at least read wise, is going to be helpful. Added status messages for image imported parameter list. That should be good. Improve performance, responsiveness of mesh and image exporters. I mean, performance in any case is always great. The viewport stability when zoomed out. Never had any issues with it myself, but that's always going to be great. Improve performance and quality of water and fog. This is big because water and fog often I will at least definitely leave these last if I am going to be using them because of performance, and I would probably still do the same, but improve performance and quality. I mean, quality, always big. Performance, that's going to be much, you know, you'd probably use them more often because of that, because sometimes there's occasions where I'm like, dude, my PC's like better start flying because of the fans, but I don't know. Improve the flow output generated by water filter. That's pretty good. Improved domain warping preview. That's great. Improved fluvial erosion by using bicubic filtering and having proper details. Erosion. Oh, that's pretty cool. Is fluvial the... okay, so it's this one. So there's an improvement to the default, really. That's cool. Well, by default, it's just the default scene, right? You're not always using fluvial, of course. Improved, and this is one of the things I was asking for. I think that we're filling out a form of like what we'd love to see in maybe GeoGen or in general. One of my things was like adding more details and stuff to a lot of the filters, and maybe more filters that have like vast cool things with it. So that's great to see. Improved Oren Nayar's implementation to reduce unwanted Anisotropy and diffuse lighting. Dude, this this goes right over my head, but probably great. Improved various error messages is probably good. Probably hopefully more detailed as well. I don't run into really any error messages, but you know, if you run into something, you want it to be detailed so you actually know. Both you know what it is, and then the devs also know what it is and can help you. Mesh import or output color values can now be read from a texture input. That's cool. Mesh input. Oh yeah, okay. Mesh. Yeah, I remember seeing that actually. That was the mesh import model, and you got the texture color, which is great. Let's see. Set height export PNG precision to 16. I think that was covered earlier. I could be wrong. XR files are now export with 32. Oh, that's cool. So even more detail if you're doing XR. Set multi-mask default sRGB values to false. Splined now join bridge. I can't remember if they. I believe they were. So this is something pretty cool. Instead of, I believe, I can't, dude, I only touched splines a little bit because I never got around to fully making the most of them. I did make a video on them, so adding a couple, let's just say we got here. I can't entirely remember, but having them not merge by default is great. So, oops. Why are we, so it's fine, oh, oops. And the, oh, oops. I had deleted my selection. So here, when you go to merge them, it, I guess, interpolates between them, which is great. So, yeah, that's pretty great. Only a couple more things going. Interior values of merging height map splines are now clamped at the spline boundary to avoid values from spiking. That's good. Made preferences and project settings searchable. Oh, wait, really? Wait, where? Oh, here we go. Not. Oh, that's weird. But, big for shortcut and stuff like that. In general, I guess considering general, it's like there's quite a lot you can actually search up for what you're after. So a big thing that you may be looking for would be like FPS limiting, or maybe like template. I don't know about template project, but definitely FPS is like a big thing that I've done in the past. Not in this, but definitely in InGeoGen when things run not well. That's pretty much it. Updated oscillator node curve editor, made license key hidden by default in the license manager. This is actually really big. You know, sometimes you know I'll be you know, recording a video or something, go to release notes, accidentally click license manager, accidentally leak my thing, and either have to hide it or restart my recording or cut it out. So that's great. Where's the spline? Oh, I didn't realize that I had that plugged in. But yeah, overall, a lot of things added. Pretty cool to see. I'd be intrigued to know in the future if we're going to see more of the roadmap in GeoGen. Currently loading that up on the side. So, because at the moment we're looking and we can see that they're adding some cliffs and overhangs for at least 1.0. So this isn't going to be for a long time. But, and I talked about that, so go watch my other video talking about the roadmap if you're interested in my thoughts and stuff. But yeah, that's pretty cool to see. A lot of good improvements, fixes and stuff like that. A lot of small improvements that people may not notice, but stuff like that. Those export, the export, I think, height map being default to 16 is going to be a great one to see. And the whole warp is actually pretty cool. The default warp view is you get to see kind of the flow of everything. Different visualizer. It'd be actually pretty cool. I don't know, to have like switch between warp views, like both this visualizer and the previous one. Um, but definitely great to see that improvement. That's really, really cool to see. I haven't seen any other program do anything like that before related. So really awesome to see. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on the update. Anything that, jumps out at you. But otherwise, yeah, hope you guys have a good one. Enjoy using GeoGen, and we'll catch you guys next time. Laters!